Everybody, it's Monday, January 29th, and we've got Chapo coming at you. Guest hosting with Felix and I today. Back, it's been too long, but it's our friend Alex Nichols from Fortune Kit and Chapo FYM. Alex, welcome back to the show.
What's up with you guys? What's up with politics? Well, let's get into it.
I got some good politics to start today's show, and I right before we got online, right before we got on air today, I had to share this with Felix because I'm loving your affection for my favorite news source, People's Daily China, and you shared a delightful story about a dog helping a little girl. And used it as sort of contrast with the state-run media apparatuses of, let's say, the United States and Russia. And just before I wanted to do the important news story of the day, courtesy of People's Daily China. Yaya, a giant panda who returned from the U.S. in 2023, will turn 24 this year. Despite her old age, the pampered princess is still spoiled. See how she eats happily from her magic handbag, which can conjure her favorite food. So before we get into the what's going on in this country, I would just like to say, China, please invade and take over this country and make that the only news that we have to cover.
It's funny when China takes the pandas back because people act like, oh, the pandas are going to be so sad. They're going to be in a shipping container. They're not going to know where they are. They're going to be so confused, and they're totally fine. They're like, oh, bamboo, this is great. And then the people who go to the zoo, they're like, no, the panda's gone. He's going to be so sad. And he's just chomping on bamboo.
There was like a diplomatic row, and China was like, okay, well, then we'll take these pandas back. And I saw one of those, like Atlanticist anti-China people was like, fuck pandas. They're stupid animals who just eat bamboo and do nothing.
Yeah. And it's like, why don't they want to rent our black bears? We should send them some black bears and then take them back and see how they like it.
I mean, like I think I have probably seen video footage of a black bear rolling itself into a ball and then sort of like snowballing down a snowy hill and then smashing its face into like a mound of ice or something. But it's few and far between, so no one's picking up our bears.
If you feed them enough, they get friendly. Yeah, that's the thing with pandas. Pandas acted like that, and then we started giving them food.
Yeah, no, we should be leasing those the grizzly bears that they have in Russia that just live in people's houses. I mean, I guess they've been fed well enough, so they're just hanging out. All right, moving on from the animal world to the world of human beings, and what's going on in their brains? How is the mental health of our politicians? And I guess I'd just like to begin this week with the clip we've all seen, we've all heard it. Chris, please bring up the Biden talking about beer brewing.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes.
Okay.
So this was, I was very glad to see Biden acknowledging the first Indo-European concept of God, Earth Rider.
That's what I thought it was.
I mean, it's Earth Rider is what's in the official transcript of his comments at this brewery, but like Earth Rider is this a concept that we're familiar with?
Honestly, I think it's probably the brewing company, but
it is the brewery. Yeah, I was hoping it was Earth Rider, like the person who writes our reality, the Almighty. Like, thank you for putting the Great Lakes in that one spot when you made the map. When you spawned everything?
It's kind of worse that he's thanking the brewery because he's thanking the brewery for making the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And it's like if you were thanking the guy who writes our reality or an Indo-European concept of God, it's like, yeah, no, that guy did it for sure. That guy made the Great Lakes. But the brewery did not. I don't know why he thinks that.
Yeah, he's thanking the brewery for the Great Lakes. That part never makes sense, no matter how much you look at it.
I'm a little disappointed to find out that Earth Rider is the name of the brewery because I thought Biden had just sort of like accidentally revealed some sort of secret information about the archons that are in control of our reality. I thought he screwed up and talked about the Earth Rider when he wasn't supposed to, and we'll see how the writers of reality deal with that. Having some fun at a brewery. The next mental health status update of a politician I'd like to talk about is, of course, the scene recorded over the weekend of John Fetterman spending the night on top of his office rooftop waving an Israeli flag at protesters. Felix, I think you had the right take on this. Is that this is finally a job that suits his capabilities?
Yeah, urban scarecrow.
He's like a gargoyle.
Yeah. No, yeah. Zero Palestinian crows will be coming to that building. I mean, people have pointed it out, but it's like, I don't even think like most people in APAC would do that. I think it's like, it's the same annoying part of his personality where you remember like, I think it was 2020 when he had that like, very 2017 style, like gay weed flag.
Right.
Yeah, where just like anytime people are like, "Oh, don't do this," he doubles down on it. But with this, instead of being like a sort of embarrassing online left liberal joke, it's supporting like the worst country in the world. I mean, it's just so weird. He's not even Jewish. Israel was never a part of his life. Until he was 50, his whole thing was like he was the mayor of a bad town and would like go on TV and be like, "Oh, my town only has one basketball hoop," and people would cheer for him. And it's like, where does Israel like? Did you just start getting into Israel when you were 53?
I mean, like, I don't know. This is not indicative of particularly wholesome mental health. I mean, like, he was probably out there in basketball shorts. He's gonna catch cold, just robotically waving an Israeli flag.
You can't hide. You're supporting genocide.
Moving on to the next mental health check-in of current leadership of the Democratic Party, we had Nancy Pelosi over the weekend go on one of the Sunday political talk shows and claim that the Gaza protesters were paid by Russia, and then just this morning told protesters in front of her house to get back to China, where your headquarters are.
Ceasefire. China, where your headquarters is.
So, Nancy, which one is it? Who am I getting paid by? I mean, the checks, they are coming in, but I'd like to know. If is it Moscow or Beijing? You know, where's the return address here, Nancy?
Is Russia really that anti-Israel?
No,
Yeah,
they love
that
Israel.
doesn't feel like they are.
Yeah.
It feels like once they get sick of us, they're going to go to them.
Yeah, that's what I thought was weird. I mean, I've always been annoyed by that because it's something that like no one wants to acknowledge. Like, Russia is where Israel buys its white people. Like,
Yeah,
that was
it's
what
like
the whole Pollard
mostly
case was
Russian.
about. Yeah. And like, they're pretty much the same like type of government, you know, just like a weird kleptocracy. Every once in a while, those two countries pretend to be mad at each other, but like no, like they're friends.
Yeah, they have a sort of bond. It's like us in Great Britain.
Yeah.
That's where we got our white people.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of always be nice to them, no matter how annoying they are.
They might, England should do like China does with the panda and take their white people back from the United States if we keep fucking around. If we don't respect the king enough. Okay, moving on to Donald Trump. People like to compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler and to his White House as the Third Reich, and those comparisons can get a little strained at times. But the one area in which I think Trump and his White House really was like Adolf Hitler in the bunker is that they were all absolutely geeked out of their mind on heroin and cocaine. I'm referring to an NBC News report headline, White House Clinic Improperly Distributed Controlled Substances During Previous Administrations, new report says.
How is it improper? How is it improper if it's a doctor who works for the White House? Who's saying it's the American Medical Administration?
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that sounds like a bunch of killjoys are saying.
The president
that.
is the boss. He should be the commander-in-chief of the military and doctors. He's the head doctor.
I saw someone in that White House had the greatest Valentine's Day ever in 2019. They got liquid morphine, Tylenol 3, and hydrocodone and fentanyl, which is like, you would only get that in the same day if like literally someone shot your head off.
Yeah. Would you feel any of it?
Yeah, past a certain point, it's like, what are we doing here?
After the fentanyl, you're just asleep.
Yeah. Who knows what happened? I mean, that does make me think that, like, with Ronnie Jackson in there, you could just like have a paper cut and go into the doctor's office and ask for all of that. They were handing out a lot of morphine and hydrocodone, but the second most popular drug was Provigil, which is an anti-narcolepsy drug, which is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like everyone in that White House is just taking like shooting up liquid morphine every 3 days, and they're like, I'm really sleepy this week. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Reading from NBC News here, it says the White House Medical Unit dispensed prescription medications, including controlled substances, to ineligible White House staff, said the report, which was released this month. The unit also kept records for Schedule II drugs, such as fentanyl, hydrocodone, morphine, and oxycodone, in the same inventory that housed records for other medications, according to the report, even though federal regulations require them to be kept separate. But yeah, no, Alex, I agree with you here. This is a real, like, if the president does it, it's not an illegal drug. Or if the president gives illegal drugs to his employees, it's just because they need to, not feel pain or stay up all day.
Yeah, Trump's a product of the 50s. Like, he probably saw his mom do this. His mom would just have a doctor, and there would be a big rattler of pills, and she would take the yellow one and the blue one and the red one and the green one, and it would make mommy all better. That's what he grew up with. That's how shit worked back then. Like, if you're rich, you get to have a big thing of pills and a doctor who gives you whatever you want. And maybe stuff worked better back then.
I think it did.
People didn't fuss as much.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know Kennedy was getting shot up with all kinds of stuff, but and look what happened to him. He got killed for it. But I don't know, like, who do we think is like the real dope fiend in the Trump administration? You think Trump is getting smacked up on oxycodone and fentanyl, or is this just like the people who has to work for him?
I don't know. Maybe it would make him a little happier or angrier. It depends. Some people get pissed when they take a pill.
Yeah, I did see a lot of like ketamine nasal spray, and I feel like that's easy. Like, I know who that is. That's like Hope Hicks, and then that other like 29-year-old girl who, like, she worked for Steve Bannon before. Basically all the like 35 and under Trump women. I think that they heard about ketamine online and they're like, ooh, I've got to try it. I've got to try it from the doctor that gives everyone in this office heroin.
Well, that's funny because actually this week I saw another story about how the feds busted an AFRICOM drug trafficking ring run by Fort Bragg soldiers that was moving ketamine from Cameroon to Fort Bragg. There was like tens of millions of doses of ketamine being moved into the country from Cameroon via Fort Bragg. I'm sure some of it probably got diverted to the White House.
I mean, that really seals it. Ketamine being over as a cool drug. If like regular army guys are doing it, not even special forces.
Yeah,
that's pretty embarrassing.
They advertise it on Twitter.
They do,
and I'm not taking the one they advertise on Twitter.
It's drop shipped from Cameroon instead of Fort Bragg. Yeah, it's if you buy directly from Cameroon, it's like $30 cheaper. Like those like faucet things that they sell on Twitter. Sorry. So moving on, Super Bowl is coming up. We've got Alex here, fortune kit, musician and musical expert. So we got to talk about the latest thing, op or not, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Is the government seeding a sort of like doing a sort of an arranged courtship for these two to promote Biden in 2024? What's going on here?
I hope so. That would be really funny. That would be awesome if they had Travis Kelce win. They rigged it because they were just so mad at Aaron Rodgers. Like, I get why people think that, even though it's definitely not true. I get why they saw Aaron Rodgers and they were like, this is our guy. This is the next Tom Brady. He's so cool. They got all his merch. Then the Pfizer thing happens with the vax and they're like, oh, they're trying to take him down. They're trying to take him down. And then this new guy is suddenly on the news and he's winning and he's the next Tom Brady now. Like, I see why you would be like someone who loved Trump and then Trump lost and they put in Biden. And of course you're going to think it was some sort of fakery.
Well, I mean, like, so you got the fact that Travis Kelce was, he promotes, or he was, does like an advertising deal with Pfizer to promote the vaccine. But then we have the story from the New York Times, inside Biden's anti-Trump battle plan and where Taylor Swift fits in. The biggest and most influential endorsement target is Ms. Swift, 34, the pop sensation and NFL enthusiast who can move millions of supporters with an Instagram post or mid-concert aside. She endorsed Mr. Biden in 2020, and last year, a single Instagram post of hers led to 35,000 new voter registrations. Fundraising appeals for Ms. Swift could be worth millions of dollars for Mr. Biden. So, I mean, I like the idea that, how old is Taylor Swift? She's like a woman in her, I don't know, like what, late 20s, early 30s?
34, you just said it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Fuck. So yeah, did they really need to court her endorsement of Biden this time around? I mean, maybe she really cares about Gaza or something, but it is funny that they are going all in on getting Biden to attend the Eras tour. Maybe.
I guess so. What would that look like? I would love for them to do some sort of photo op with him. I don't know what it would even be. You can't get him to say a sentence. You can't get him to stay at a press conference. He'll just wander off.
What if they changed him?
How would they change him?
I mean, presumably like you would with a baby. Probably more.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
No, I didn't literally mean
I thought you meant like changing a boyfriend.
No. We're far past that.
Don't elect him and think you can change him.
This one has been annoying because it really sucks that all the conservatives learned the phrase psyop because they just think that's everything. I saw Benny Johnson. He was in a supermarket and he took a picture of all those limited edition
at the checkout counter where it's just Princess Diana 25 years after her death.
The Beatles.
Yeah, there are a bunch of those for Taylor Swift, obviously, and he's like, look at this. We're in the middle of a massive psyop.
Did you just find out about her? Yeah, it came out when I was in middle school.
But she's never, and this was weird about it because I feel like, wasn't it just a few years ago when Taylor Swift was being upheld as some sort of Aryan princess by sort of alt-right elements of as being this sort of avatar of I don't know, Ava Braun femininity? But
yeah, there was this invented conflict between her and I guess Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. It was very 2014, and now I guess she's totally liberal coded. I guess because she didn't say anything conservative. They wanted that to happen. She's smart enough not to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I know she came out of the Nashville country music establishment, which is more conservative, and I'm sure she lost some fans. But I mean, what is she? She's a billionaire. I don't know. What do they want? What do they want from Taylor Swift? I mean, I guess what they want her to do is dump her jock boyfriend and start dating Barron Trump
or Dan Bongino.
Oh yeah,
they would look great together. But yeah, no, I do remember that. There was a brief resurgence of the image of Taylor Swift as a conservative during the last time that left-wing people on Twitter liked Kanye. Because, because Kanye had some song on one of his more mentally ill albums where he's like, I fucked Taylor Swift in the butt, yippee, or something.
Yeah, he had a fake statue of her naked in bed with him.
Yeah.
Just very thirsty and lame.
I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous.
Yeah, and so Kim put out apparently I barely remember this, but I think it was that Kanye and Kim tried to make it seem like Taylor Swift agreed to it in advance, but it turned out she didn't. Chris, you would remember this. What is that right?
Yeah. They put out a video of a call that they made. Do you guys remember this? There was
some sort of phone
on
call.
The phone proving hey, we're gonna imply that you had sex with Kanye during a music video. Is that cool? And there's some garble. It was all very.
At the time, Kim posted footage of a phone call between Taylor and Kanye to Snapchat, which seemed to show Taylor approving the lyrics, which she says she never did. A full release of the phone conversation in 2020 appeared to show that the footage had been edited down.
All very weird. That was definitely one of the first bigger red flags of all is not well in Kanye world, Even though
Yeah, that stuff has aged so badly.
Yeah.
All the takes about Kanye and how like white people just don't like Kanye because he's so woke and he knows so much about racial issues.
Yes.
They don't understand how smart he is on those specific issues and how dumb Taylor Swift is.
That whole thing with Kanye was, I don't think it could have happened to anyone funnier. I mean, if you were on Twitter in 2014, like for us, it was so funny because that was like in 2014, that was the only thing people talked about was just, I remember I saw a post that was like, all you need to know about someone's opinions on racial issues is what they think of Kanye. And all you need to know what they think of women's issues is what they think.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, actually, yeah.
I was just going to say that Taylor is a genius at keeping her mouth shut about these things because largely she just does nothing and lets all the mishigas flow around her, and that's what keeps her at such a high level because she can mean most things to most people.
And she has shooters.
Yes.
She doesn't have to say anything.
Yes.
Yeah, the only time she'll like indicate something about politics is when it's like, it's like a 75-25 thing. Like abortion, honestly. Like you just vaguely signal at that. But
she did endorse Biden in 2020.
But everyone was doing that. Like it's easy to forget now, but like in summer of 2020 especially, there was like every celebrity that like never gets involved in this stuff was like, all right, we're done with Trump.
That's why he won.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, Alex, do you remember the? I think I've talked about this on the show before, but when the day when like Kanye endorsed Trump, someone tweeted very solemnly, "Wake up, Mr. West."
Jesus Christ!
I'm trying to remember who that was. It was someone funny.
He's been crazy forever.
Yeah.
It's just like because like when you watch football games on TV, like the TV networks they cut away to Taylor Swift every time she's at a Chief game, which is like basically every game this season, and I think that makes a certain kind of guy so mad. But like the thing about Travis Kelce that you got to remember is that he wasn't good at football until he got the Pfizer vaccine. It made him into a beast out there. And like I think that's what they're mad about. They're mad about the evidence that the Pfizer vaccine turns you into a football god.
It either makes your heart stronger or it kills it if you're a pussy.
Exactly.
But if you're not a pussy, it makes your heart even stronger. It's like working out. Like some guys, they work out and they'll just have a heart attack. But some people, it'll make them stronger if they have the constitution.
That's very true. 5% of people will do whatever it takes.
Well, so obviously, Taylor is she's got a lot of cultural cachet right now, and where she weighs in on this election is it's anyone's guess because she could come out and endorse Trump. You never know.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, you should go to the Eras tour. That'd be great. But no, but moving on now. We got to talk about music, the wholesome music that people of the right wing persuasion can enjoy. We are returning now, of course, to our old friend, Canadian white rapper Tom McDonald, who came out with a new song featuring, the genius Ben Shapiro. And we're lucky enough to be, have as a guest on the show today, Alex, who ghost wrote Ben's verse for the song. So you just tell us a little about the creative process of working with Ben on this track.
Well, they call me the Ben Shapiro of the left based on height. So it's sort of a natural matchup. I actually haven't heard this yet. I haven't heard this song yet. I was putting it off because you guys said you hadn't heard it yet, and I was going to listen to it for the first time on the show.
Well, the song is called Facts. And Chris, why don't we cue that up? And if you could just just jump ahead to Ben Shapiro's verse.
Man, I call this shit iTunes rap because it only charts on iTunes.
I have no idea where Ben Shapiro's verse is. So let's get a little.
So he's saying, like, I mean, you're the listeners will be missing out on the visuals to this video, but I have to comment on the fact that Tom McDonald is talking about his raps are not promoting stripper poles or overdosing or anything cool like that. But like he looks like a gremlin of some kind. Like he's got braids and a face tattoo. I mean, he just looks very he looks very disturbing, and he looks like there's someone who is on a lot of drugs. So I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. The average Tom McDonald fan is overdosed like 12 times. Like they still have Narcan in their nose from the last time.
He's got So I mean, like, and then Alex, like we said, like, where did the American flags go? He's from Alberta. Where the fuck? Why the fuck do you care where the American flags have gone?
It's basically America.
Yeah, I guess.
If any province of Canada is America, it's that one.
I guess. But Felix, like, how do you think that Tom's verse here compares to White Boy or some of his other singles?
It's disappointing. I feel the same thing with Tom McDonald that I felt with Alex Jones after Trump became president, where like Alex Jones just became like a boring Republican. Like he used to talk about like funny stuff and do these great shows where he would wander to Bohemian Grove and they would ask him to leave. And then after Trump became president, he'd be like, Democrats hate the Trump tax bill because it will give small businesses more money. And it's like, okay, great. And I can't hear this anywhere else.
But he felt like he won, and he kind of did, but it made him boring.
Yeah, with Tom McDonald, White Boy, the song where he goes into some sort of high school for adults and raps about understanding.
That's in the video.
Yeah,
and then, or if I was black,
If I was black is awesome. He's I think it's like his apology for White Boy. He's like, if I was black, everyone would yell at me. They would accuse me of committing felonies. And I don't know why he made that song. Then my favorite, They're Trying to Kill Me If I Leave My Home.
Oh, I love that one.
That one's awesome.
That's a legitimately great. Okay.
Too. But like after he sort of figured out that like conservatives are a reliable audience. iTunes Rap, as Alex said, since like conservatives, because they're broadly older people, are the only people who still buy music on iTunes. iTunes gives a great insight into what old people are listening to, and it was a great business move for Tom McDonald. But it's like a creative low point for him, I feel like.
Well, I feel like it's interesting. Like I remember If I Leave My House, They're Going to Kill Me. It's a great song. But after listening to Shapiro's verse, I have a profile of Tom McDonald from Rolling Stone that came out in 2022, right around the time White Boy and If I Was Black was sort of becoming controversial. And in the piece, like they spend some time with Tom McDonald. And They're going to kill me if I leave my house. He's a huge COVID paranoiac and like is like a stringent masker and sort of social distancing type of guy because his girlfriend has asthma or something, and he's against the vaccine, but he's like really, really, really strict about N95 masks, which I thought was an interesting detail.
Yeah, him and Vladimir Putin, they're the world's two conservative COVID scolds.
Now, before we get into Ben Shapiro's verse on this song, I just like to note that, Ben Shapiro has made a number of public statements declaring that rap music equals crap music. And, declared his because, he played violin since he was 7 years old or something. And based on that musical expertise, he has adjudicated that rap music is, in fact, not music. And Alex, I remember we had you on ages ago to talk about the sort of genre of conservative rap, and you made a point that like is obviously evident in this video, which is that like similar to the Daily Wire movie Lady Ballers, which is about like any loser guy is still better than the best woman at basketball. I think someone like Ben Shapiro, who hates rap music, has a has a need to participate in it as a way of kind of like denigrating rap music, to say that even I, the lamest person on earth, can do rap music better than black people. So
yeah, it's that easy. And then there's no way to really dispute it, because they point to iTunes and it says #1 on iTunes because everyone's uncle bought it. You look on Spotify and it has 8,000 plays. But to them, that's enough. They say, well, I can rap as good as Lil Pump.
All right, let's hear some more from Facts.
Before we hear the Shapiro verse, we see Tom McDonald standing in front of a wall of monitors with Ben Shapiro's face, and he looks exactly like the grinning man that appears on most Aphex Twin imagery.
Yeah. So, wow, let's go behind the bars with Ben Shapiro. It's just I mean, like really robotic. It's like, I mean, this seems like an AI. Like you just like.
I was going to ask if it's AI.
Voice. Yeah,
it's not like it's hard to get Ben Shapiro, but that was just so weird.
Yeah,
it was so unmusical.
I don't know what like I feel like, even for like Tom McDonald fans, shouldn't we be past the novelty of like, what, a nerd is rapping? Like, is this 1998? What are we doing here?
Weird Al Yankovic did it better.
Can't you see him white and nerdy?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, sort of similar to the Tom's verse. Like, Ben's coming in and he's saying that, like, he's basically just advertising the thing, like, you know, all the other things that rappers promote, like, you know, having sex, doing drugs, being cool. I'm not about that. I'm making money off compound interest and talking about facts on my webcast.
Is he trying to be anti-Semitic to himself? Why are you talking about compound interest? Why are you saying that? Don't say that.
You're selling fence. I'm taking rent. All right,
that is so fucked up.
All right, you want to hear a little more of it, or should we dive into this?
My pronouns are he, him. Get used to it. Does that offend
you? What are his face tattoos too?
Does one say hog?
Yeah. Well, he had this thing in like 2018, around the same time as White Boy and Dear Rappers, Hangover Gang, but then he got sober. So he still has Hangover Gang like tattooed across his face.
Oh, it's like Wino awesome. Forever.
Yeah,
like Johnny Depp's tattoo.
Yeah.
I just want to share a few details about Tom from this Rolling Stone article. It says here, perhaps you've seen the music video for White Boy, which currently has more than 22 million views on YouTube and made a minor celebrity of a carpenter turned pro wrestler turned rapper named Tom McDonald. God, listen, nail this guy to a crucifix and he could be our Lord and Savior.
Carpenter. How long was he a carpenter? Was he in a union? Because if you're talking about like helping my uncle with his deck, I don't want to hear that.
But Felix, it describes the music video. It says it is set in a Southern California classroom where the musician, who is white, wears blonde box braids and sits in a desk in a row of bored-looking students. Just as he starts rapping about how he shouldn't have to feel bad for being white, the students start to make faces and throw paper at him. The teacher, played by a black actor, tries to quiet McDonald down, waving his arms and wordlessly shouting. The rest of the classroom begins to taunt him. White boy, don't say that. White boy, you so bad. McDonald overpowers them with a scream of anguish, his voice rising above all the others in the room. White boy, white noise, saying shit I can't say with my white voice.
Yeah, that song is very powerful because the stuff he says is like, my family never owned slaves. I would never say there's an implied N word. He's like, I would never say, bleh. And it takes place, as I said, in the adult high school where everyone argues with Tom McDonald. I think that's like where they make you go after you go to prison.
It's like remedial driving or something.
Yeah. You have to go to Tom McDonald classes if you really, really screwed up in life.
Going on here, it says, but McDonald started something more vicious than a conversation. Even if you've never seen the video for White Boy, you know precisely the type of person who would put it on repeat. He'd gifted the culture war a new text. Eventually, white nationalists discovered the song. McDonald said he spent hours deleting their comments celebrating him. That freaked me the fuck out, he said, claiming that as a Canadian, he was unaware of the chaos this track would unleash. Of course, he brought it upon himself. I was like,
we're not all on the same internet.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm Canadian. I don't know about any of this stuff.
You can't say, oh, she goes to a different school. You're all just posting on Twitter.
Yeah. But going on here, it says, 4 years after White Boy, McDonald is eager to show people I'm not just some brainwashed right-wing zombie. When we spend time together this winter at his place, he's ultra paranoid about COVID, requiring us to stay masked and socially distanced even outdoors. He suggests that he isn't against abortion or gun control and that he watches videos about intersectionality.
I would love to see what he means by that.
What is that? Is that like from the Griot? He reads The Root.
I would love to find out what he means by that because he cannot be doing like there's no way he's doing that. Does he mean like interracial porn?
Well, not on YouTube. Unless it's clothed.
It's like it goes back to this like Canadian thing. It's just like you don't even go to this high school, and then he's weighing in on all these American culture. And when you're in Canada, it's like all our culture war issues just become backwash for their like trucker convoys and stuff like that. But like he's just like we're in the face tattoos talking about like I'm proud to be white, and then he's like, damn, all these white nationalists are commenting on my shit. How could this happen?
It seems like they would hate the way he looks.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing how people can suspend their hatred for someone who has like white guy dreads and all these piercings and all these face tattoos and all this shit, where if their daughter brought that guy home, they would come out with a shotgun. But once he says I'm racist, it's totally fine. Same thing with 4G Auto Blow and all those guys. Like, why do they support that? And I really don't get the appeal of being a white nationalist if you have to hang out with guys who look like that. Who's the guy? Like, shouldn't they be clean cut? What's the point of the far right shit if we don't have clean cut guys like we used to? If we're gonna have face tattoos, we might as well be cool.
It's Foreshadow Blow is great, but I love like the guy whose face is even fatter than his. Was it Jimmy Levy? That guy?
Yeah.
The guy whose head is just his eyes are like closed because like his face has pushed his like cheeks and forehead together.
Yeah, I love him and Jimmy Levy, 4G Auto Blow and Jimmy Levy. My favorite song they do is Target is Targeting Kids. That one's awesome.
Whatever happened to that? They used to be so mad at the store.
Oh my, yeah. No, it was like a new thing every week. I ran out of things, or they ran out of things that were like turning kids trans. But like, yeah, you know what they did with Target, like a similar thing to when people on Twitter will post like the Starbucks stock falling by like 0.7% and being like, look, the boycott's working.
Yeah. I saw one of the worst things I've ever seen on Twitter. It was someone who works at McDonald's saying they cut my hours, but I'm glad because it means the boycott is working. God damn, man, that sucks so bad to
It's
see.
really, really
Oh.
bad. I mean,
Ow.
it's like it's a double-edged sword, right? Like it sucks to see, and it's embarrassing. That post where that girl was like, "Why do you think McDonald's is bringing pink shakes back? Because the boycott is working." It's embarrassing, but also the fact that like people that stupid are like they know about Palestine. That's a good sign, you know. Those people.
Yeah, thank you, TikTok, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, look, 20 years ago, those people did not know what anything was. People who would say that stuff. But now hey, their heart's in the right place.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, if you knew about Palestine, you were weird.
Yeah.
Like, why do you know about that? Why do you know what Gaza is? But now it's normal.
Continuing the article, it says here, let me just, okay, so McDonald grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, a city of 1 million inhabitants in central Canada, where the average high in January is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. His dad was a contract negotiator for oil rigs. After high school, McDonald worked in construction, specifically carpentry. When he wasn't building houses or on rigs, he performed in pro wrestling matches on pay-per-view wrestling against ex-WWF competitors and touring on Canada's professional circuit as all-star Tom McDonald. Going on, it says here, Rockefeller, this is referring to his girlfriend, Nova Rockefeller. Rockefeller's fear of dying from COVID is so acute that at first I think there's no way I'll ever be able to meet McDonald in real life. She tells me she still wipes down all her groceries and holds her breath to check her mail on her suburban street. She and McDonald build elaborate sets in their garage, spare room, and backyard. One is a mental asylum complete with padded walls and fluorescent lighting. Another is an apocalypse bunker. There's a Mad Men-esque living room with a bear rug and roaring fireplace. For one video, he brought a vintage car that's still in the front yard. So actually, I kind of like this. He's like, all his music videos, he just films in his house.
Yeah. Just
That's
like,
pretty cool.
Just like all the best stuff, he's DIY.
What year was this?
This is from 2022.
Okay. I guess it was kind of reasonable to be that afraid
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean, COVID was still going on.
If you just have asthma. At this point, I hope he's not still doing that. I hope he's not just destroying his career and just never leaving.
Growing up, McDonald's favorite wrestler to watch was Stone Cold Steve Austin, whose shtick included guzzling beers and occasionally beating the shit out of his boss, the then WWF chairman. But the anti-establishment wrestler also played the hero. McDonald recalled the moment as a child bullied at school. He saw a match between Austin and The Undertaker, pro wrestling's terrifying undead zombie. Steve Austin came out and he was like this little 6-foot dude with a shaved head and like didn't have the pageantry, McDonald recalls, unexpectedly starting to cry. As a child, that spoke to me. To see a person go up and fight in spite of the fact that they would probably lose. Steve Austin won that day. A few years later, he'd gut punch, a.k.a. stun, Trump himself during one of the future president's appearances promoting his show, The Apprentice. So,
man,
starting to cry because Stone Cold Steve Austin fought The Undertaker at SummerSlam.
That justifies all the bullying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That justifies all the bullying that you're the guy who's crying at Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, they were right to look down on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Stone Cold, you the way that you pretended to slap a guy in the back really hard, I realized that I could accomplish my goals.
I really respected the way you saw Vince McMahon rape women and didn't do anything. It really spoke to me.
So yeah, well, hopefully, I don't know. I think Ben Shapiro's musical career should continue to flourish. I think you guys should, start selling features to other rappers. So it's $500K a feature, or a couple $100,000 if I like you.
Yeah, you can pay like $5,000 to get Snoop Dogg or Gucci Mane. They do features all the time for everybody. If you follow them on Spotify, you have a feed of just the worst shit, and it's a 30-second feature from them. So Ben Shapiro, it should be less than that. It should be like $2, but he's probably charging like $10,000. I would guess, unless it's just a favor for Tom McDonald.
Yeah, no, they wanted to link and build. Ben Shapiro saw they're gonna kill me in my house and thought, hey, I'll have some of that.
I do need to do a quick fact check on this Ben Shapiro verse. This name of the song is Facts. He says, you're going to prison. I'm on television. False. Ben Shapiro is not on television. Daily Wire is not television. That is a web show.
You're right about that.
Wait, who's his enemy that's going to prison?
Just black people.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
All right.
that judge in Georgia.
The implied, just like reading through his verse, the implied you on all of this is indeed just black people, mostly black women.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did you guys know that Palm Beach used to be run by the Romanovs?
Really?
What?
I learned that this morning. The mayor of Palm Beach in the 80s was the heir to the Romanovs. He was the son of the Russian Grand Duke.
Oh, when you said that, I thought that like at one point Palm Beach was like, it was one of those things like where there'll be an island that's like in the Caribbean that King Charles is their head of state still. Like how the president of France is always the co-prince of Andorra.
Yeah. They don't have to be afraid of him, though, because the second he got down there, he would die.
Yeah.
If he got to the Caribbean, he would die. He would just roast. He would turn into a prune.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Macron and some priest are like the co-princes of one of those weird European countries that has like 300 people in it.
Yeah, I think Monaco, or not Monaco.
It's not Monaco.
Andorra.
It sounds
Yeah,
like that. It's like
yeah.
a
The president of France is always the co-prince of Andorra, which
it's one of the few remaining personal unions, like the old days,
yeah,
where one monarch would own two countries.
it's kind of cool. I like the idea that someone can like lose re-election as prince, even if it's just co-prince.
Okay. I know. Here's a story that we didn't get to last week. With talking to Derek Felix. The story about the Israeli guy who walked into Gaza and was blown up by the IDF.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out. This story is very confusing.
They were supposed to send out Goliath. Send out your biggest, dumbest guy, and we both fight, and then we get it over with. They were supposed to do it.
So his like his family is like, can you believe this happened? Can you believe that Israel accidentally blew our nephew up? And it's like, yeah.
Before he got stuck in his tank.
I don't know what this guy was going for. The only thing I could think of is like he bought into Israeli propaganda so much that he thought that like, Palestinians are so cowardly and stupid that he'll just be able to do like a no weapon challenge run.
Didn't Napoleon do that? Or Julius Caesar or something? I feel like that's a classic thing, like walking without armor to the front lines and you're magically unhit. He's probably going for something like that.
Well,
really
he was
feeling
going
himself.
for it. But the headline from Haaretz is, Avivu is in Gaza, the Israeli who entered Gaza and was mistakenly killed by the IDF. 2 weeks after hundreds of terrorists crossed the border fence and massacred civilians, 29-year-old Avivu Mori walked a half a kilometer into Gaza unimpeded until he was killed by the IDF. 2 months later, his family is still waiting for answers as to how the former soldier was able to cross the border fence. I like that they're waiting for answers to the question of how was he able to cross the border fence and not why was he killed immediately for walking around.
They put the fence back up? I thought they knocked it over with bulldozers. Why would they put it back up while they're invading? I don't get what's going on over there. That country sucks.
I'm sick of them. I'm really sick of them.
It's complete dick.
I am white diamond and silk. I am white diamond and silk. Supporting President Trump and triggering all of the libs. I am white diamond and silk. I am white diamond and silk. Supporting President Trump and triggering all of the libs. I'm looking for pictures of Nancy Pelosi's feet. She won't go barefoot. Her city has shit on the street. We're coming for dummy crabs.
Alex, can you give us can you give us a roundup or preview of anything what's going on Chapo FYM right now? Who are the guys that have that you're investigating recently?
Let's see, what have we been talking about? There's Vinnie Mac, the sex doll guy. He had a sex doll and he got married to her on YouTube and then killed her and had a funeral on YouTube. Then he tried to date real life women again and they didn't want to date him. So he got a new sex doll and this time she's black.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's what's up with him.
maybe America is getting too woke.
We're watching some of the transvestigators. There was one of them last night who was saying that RuPaul is FTM. They think all the drag queens are FTM, like they were born female and then
Okay, so they're born
go
female,
male and then
transition to male, and then do drag as female to male transsexuals.
yeah, it's the ultimate disguise. And it makes no sense. Like the only possible goal would be to confuse the most easily confused people of all time who just sit at home on a laptop all day.
Have you seen the transvestigators begin begin to crack the seal on the most important transvestigation of all time, Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
because like
birthing hips.
Yeah, because yeah, like I mean, he has a sort of a fey mannerisms that he carries himself with, but like the transvestigators think that every single celebrity and world leader is trans. So I saw a thread where someone was like, yeah, like this definitely is this. She definitely is, or she definitely is a trans woman or trans man. But we still have to support him. I don't know. I'm getting confused with the pronouns now myself.
The British people are even more insane because they don't really have the Trump brain. He's just kind of one more guy like Boris or anybody. So they can just say he's FTM. They'll say it is all of them. And that means all of them. Then sometimes people will argue with them being like, well, actually, my brother actually met this celebrity and he had sex with her and she was totally normal down there and he didn't say anything weird. And she says, no, it is all of them. And then she'll post that they're actually secretly trans.
I love
Horrified House Guest and Simon Woods and all the greats.
I love this stuff because like they say that when you ask them like why would they go through all this trouble, like it seems really complicated. Their answer is that like by inverting the genders, it's a mind game. It's meant to freak everyone out.
Yeah,
but it's also a secret.
That doesn't happen already.
Yeah.
That's the thing about so many psyops. Like, why do they have to do anything? Why do they have to put in work to make us not care and make us complacent and shit? Like, that's just what the TV does.
But yeah, like, and the other aspect of this is that, like, whatever, like, hormonal or medical interventions, like, this has been going on for like 70 years. With like, that would have to be the case. So, like,
well, according to them, like thousands.
Yeah, thousands.
I think it happens in like the Bible and like Nebuchadnezzar and like the Roman emperors and stuff. And I don't know how they did it.
So like how good were they at doing this stuff when like, you know, Ava Gardner, she was born a man.
Yeah, they were so
Marilyn
good
Monroe, man. Like I mean, it was like, what were they doing back then? I mean, it was like fucking. I mean, like it's worked phenomenally well.
Yeah, some of those surgeons in Weimar, Germany, they must have escaped that institution. They got out.
So, like, I mean, what I wonder about the transvestigator people is like, at what point did you begin to doubt your own, like, assigned gender at birth? Like,
yeah,
I mean, at what point does this become like a Scanner Darkly style thing where it turns out you're investigating yourself the entire time?
I guess that's the upside of having like an old photo in a photo album of your tiny little baby penis in the bathtub.
Yeah, that Nirvana
kid. Your mom pulls it out. Yeah, the Nirvana kid. Because then you can see, okay, all right, it's always been there. They didn't get to me.
But yeah, Donald Trump, you know, like no matter what gender he was assigned at birth, no matter what gender he identifies as now, no matter what gender-based con he's currently engaged in as part of the Illuminati gender swap transvestigation global conspiracy. But you know, like a good man is a good man, and a good woman is a good woman, and they deserve our support nonetheless.
Know what kind of drugs you don't see on that slip that got released. No estrogen. It would be on there.
All right, gang. Let's wrap it up there for today. I want to thank Alex Nichols for joining us today. You can find him on Chapo FYM and Fortune Kit. Links to subscribe in the show description.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Our pleasure.
Always a joy.
I would also just on your behalf shout out that Fortune Kit just released an album of all the songs that you guys made on Spotify. That's great. All the Fortune Kit songs are a delight. If you like, you know, like the episode 1 songs, the Fortune Kit.
Yeah, if you want a Hot Will Menaker feature that's even worse than the Ben Shapiro feature, and get on that.
Yeah, all your friends are on there.
Yeah,
check it out.